RSS feeds for professional development. Do you have this set up, John? So does this thing work?
Yep.
So RSS actually has it's an acronym for two different things. It is.
Well, it evolved. This was the original.
Yeah, this is the original. So really simple syndication, and now it's often used as rich site summary because it's the same kind of markup that's sent out. So what RSS really is, I mean, this is like being gobbledygook, right? It makes no sense. What it really means is that sites send out information about what they've published in a standardized format that has like the title, the author, the content, which is what's called an RSS feed. It's really XML file. If you're interested in like what kind of file it is. It's an XML file that is standardized that RSS aggregators can take in, and then that way you can collate information and stories and articles and things from multiple places all in one place using an RSS aggregator. So content that's available in an RSS feed includes, I think I just saw someone chat here.
I got it. That's
okay.
Oh,
you're on it. Okay. Something was really sticky on that. So content that's regularly published are the kinds of things that we usually have available through RSS. Things like your magic thing doesn't.
Because you went to the other screen, you have to.
Dang it! Why doesn't it know what I want? I got it. I got it. All right. So blogs are one thing, right? Those are things that are regularly published. A lot of blogs have RSS feeds available. Keep in mind that usually it's good practice to have an RSS feed available. So if you're the one that's creating the content and you're doing regular publishing, like on a blog, you probably want to make sure that there's an RSS feed available. So if you're using a content management system like WordPress or something, there's plugins and things that generate those by default that you can use. But not all of them, not every blog has one.
What maybe you might be interested in doing is logging into a computer too while we're presenting so that you perhaps grab some during the session. Or you could do it from your phones too.
Yeah. Trade magazines often have this available. News websites often have RSS feeds. The New York Times has a wide range of news feeds that you can subscribe to that are on specific topics. So if you go to the New York Times website, there's actually an RSS feeds page of like all of the different feeds you could subscribe to. Podcasts are often delivered by RSS and have feeds available. So to be able to use RSS to bring all this stuff to one place, you do need to have a reader or an aggregator. And Feedly is the one I think that John uses too, right? So it's one of the most common ones. You can access Feedly in a browser, so you can use it on a desktop computer. There's also an app for your phone. So it's convenient because you can go across all devices and it keeps track of what you've read, what you haven't read, and all the stuff goes together. And I'll log in and show you what that looks like.
I encourage you to download it on your mobile devices if you don't have it, or if you don't have another reader, just to try it. Or you could go onto one of the computers and create an account on Feedly.
Then there's also the Old Reader, which also does have apps, and it's cross-platform, and you can also read it in a browser. This one, the Old Reader actually took over when the Google Reader, which was the most common one, shut down. So these have kind of bubbled up as being kind of the most common ones now. And then there's others, there's Feedler, Apple News, Flipboard, are all things that use RSS feeds to work. So why use RSS for aggregation? You can get content from consistent sources all in one place. So if you're doing research and you like to keep track of research in your area from multiple places, it can all come to you in one place and not fill up your inbox, right? Which is why I like it. You can control what content you get, so you can subscribe and unsubscribe as you wish to whatever feeds you're most interested in. I like the fact that the content's not provided with an algorithm like it is on social media platforms. So social media platforms I find are a great way to follow things and kind of get sprinklings of information and maybe discover new things. But I find it actually really difficult to keep up with something consistently because the algorithms may or may not want me to see that information, right? So you're in control is the key thing here.
Right. Both Facebook and Twitter will give you a feed based on what your interactions with other people are, what they like.
And so if you, for example, are following research stuff, but you don't talk about research at all on your social media platform, it probably will like filter that out largely. So how do you find feeds? The aggregator itself will allow you to search for common feeds, and usually you can add those directly. So if you're looking for like the Chronicle of Higher Education, you probably can just type that in and like find it, right? But if you can't, you can go directly to the web source, the website where the content is normally published to get the feed URL. A lot of times those are, you can either search for it. So like on the New York Times website, you can search, like a big site like that, you can search for RSS feed and it will take you to the page that has all the feeds listed. Smaller sites, probably not. On a smaller site, you can look in the footer. Sometimes there'll be a link right there, usually near where the social media is, or in a sidebar, or at the bottom of an individual post, like where all the share links are. A lot of times there's an RSS link as well. Sometimes those are a little tricky to find. And then sometimes you can't find one, and it's because the site doesn't have one. So you're not crazy, it probably doesn't have one.
And Feedly and many other aggregators will have a plugin you can put in your browser in Chrome or in others, so you just click on the link when you're right on the page and it will add it to your account.
Just in case you want to know, like when you're looking for a URL, it does usually look like this. It usually will say feed at the end, and then that way you kind of know you're at the right place. Sometimes it'll be RSS, so usually that's what the feed looks like, so that you kind of know you got the right thing. So here's a couple of things that you might be interested in. The Chronicle for Higher Education. There's a Prof Hacker blog that I like, and I follow that specifically. You can get the free content from the Chronicle also. You can also get stuff if you have a subscription to the Chronicle of Higher Ed. You can get the stuff that you pay for as well using an aggregator. You just have to log into it the first time and then it like remembers. I really like Plagiarism Today.
I haven't.
It's a great one. I'm totally a copyright like guru, and I really find this stuff fascinating. So he talks a lot about court cases and stuff. I find it really interesting. Like my nerdy like thing. Inside Higher Ed has an RSS feed that many of you might be interested in. There's one called Faculty Focus. The Guardian also has a higher education network, specifically that curates higher education topics. And the Teach Better podcast has one as well. They have a blog, so that goes to the blog. So you can grab these. Use Snapchat to get it. You can get all the links that I have up there.
If you have Snapchat, just take a picture.
And then
Google the Google app.
Or you can email me and I'll send it to you. But what I thought might be helpful is I'll log into my Feedly account, and then that way you can kind of see what it looks like. But I'll give everyone a chance. See phones up.
It really helps though, because it's a good way of keeping track of a wide variety of things that you might miss otherwise.
I just was getting inundated following like newsletters and things in my email, and just needed to get information a different way where I can go in when I have time. So you'll see I haven't had, for a while before I had my daughter, life has changed a lot. Before I had my daughter, I would every morning check my feeds and like clean them out. Now it's like a super backlog, but now it's embarrassing.
Nothing like a baby to everything different.
Yeah, so I'm still trying to figure out what that rhythm is like, but I feel confident that I can
do it all.
Yeah, I can do it eventually. I just got to figure out how.
Come and talk to my new class.
So this is what the Feedly site looks like when you get here. You can easily create an account up in the top right-hand corner.
And a nice simple thing is to link to your Google account, or you could do it.
Mine's in
however you
Twitter.
want.
Yeah, mine's at Twitter. Which I had no idea when to get in. I've like never accessed it through a browser until yesterday. I was like, I don't even know how I log in. I had to go into my app and figure it
I
out.
linked it to my Google account. That's usually saved. And I just click on it and go right in.
Well, then you could.
It's not that password. It's for this one.
And then you don't have to remember which password.
It's that one.
Okay.
I'm on a different computer.
Yeah.
So you can see all of the things that have come up on the things that you subscribe to under today. So this is all the stuff that like came out recently. And you can also see all of the things that I subscribe to and their categories.
And you create the categories. So
Yeah.
You can group
Well, actually,
them.
it creates categories, but I think you can rename them.
Right.
And
you can create your own.
so I can't see this. So if you want to add something new, you can type in, if you know what the title is, to see whether or not someone else has subscribed before, because then it probably is there and they don't need to go like hunting all over town for it. A keyword will bring up things that you could subscribe to if you're looking for something new. So those are a couple ways. Or if it doesn't have it, you can actually type in the actual URL to the thing that you need. So let's see, what's something that we don't have? What don't I have, John, that I need? Who knows?
How about educational technology?
I do not need that, but.
There we go.
So you can see that so this is just the keyword search, right? And then it's bringing up all the ones that you could think about subscribing to, and you just say follow and it'll add it right into your feeds.
And you could also click on the hashtags to get others in that category.
So I find it helpful. So sometimes it's like, oh, I want to get caught up on plagiarism issues, for example. I don't like the 3 count ones. So then I just say like, oh, I'm not going to read that. I know I won't read that. I know I won't read that. I'll probably read that one. Won't read that one.
And you can also do it for the whole folder if you don't want to.
So like, I just happen to know I don't like.
If you don't like them, so you don't get them, I have to do this every day.
I do it on a daily basis to kind of clean them out. But this happens, they happen to have,
But you
this
notice right at
particular
the
one has a
bottom,
few
there was
things
the
and I like
option.
some articles and not all.
You can unsubscribe, but right at the bottom was also a mark all as read. So when you see the whole page.
Yeah, I wasn't unsubscribing, I was just getting my
No,
specific posts. But so in here, you can indicate that you've read it, right? You can click in it and actually read it. And what I do is I use this as a place to read and explore. And then if it's something that I definitely want to use later, I use an app like Pocket to store it separately. And then I just clean out my aggregator on a regular basis.
And for each page, there's a mark all as read, so you don't have to do it individually.
Yeah.
You could just.
Which I'm so
scan
not
them.
doing because there's things in here that I
Right.
want to look at.
But it is an option when you're actually reading them. You scan through the summaries. If there's nothing you want, mark them all as read, go to the next page.
Right. And then it does show you in a really clean reading environment so that there's not a lot of distractions. So if there's sites that you like to read, like news websites, but it's always like cluttered with ads and more ads,
Right.
like this, you might enjoy this reading environment a little bit better. You can also you can use this tool to tweet out, to put things in Facebook and things too, to share out. So those tools are built right in. So you'll notice up at the top here, if I wanted to do any of that, those things are up here at the top of the page. And then I happen to have, if you had Evernote or whatever, you could also
link other apps to it.
link to it. So.
And some people, if there's things they regularly like or they like to share, they can connect something with if this then that, IFTT or WhatsApp, automatically post something on Twitter from a given RSS feed. So you can automate it a little bit.
Yeah, ask a quick question.
Sure.
Let's say I wanted the New York Times RSS feed. I would think obviously the Times controls what content goes out that way. It doesn't share every story through our.
I'll show you. Actually, they do send many out, and some of the stuff that like where you would normally pay for a subscription.
Yeah, hit it, move it to the bottom. Okay.
It's fine. I'll show you how to like find them. So in the New York Times site, for example, you want to find They have a whole page. It's handy. So here are all the different feeds you can subscribe to. So you can do like the home page if you want like whatever the top news is essentially, or if you want to dig into something more specific, like maybe you're interested in like New York regional news.
I constantly hit the limit on stories they'll let me get from their web
without
page.
an account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a desktop, one way around that is to open it in an incognito browser. And sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But if you combine it with what is it, where you get a different URL in a different area? I can't.
I'm not good at this game.
I didn't have if you have, yeah, never mind, I'll think of it.
Okay, sure.
If you subscribe to it here though, and you don't have it, like it only counts towards your limit if you actually read the whole, like there's a thing that says like read whole thing, or just get like the summary if that's at the top. So you can still see some of it.
So you get the abstract.
Yeah.
The top.
So this is, you can get the direct XML file that you need. So you just copy that URL and paste it into the Feedly, and then it'll take you to the right thing, right? Rather than like all of New York Times or whatever, you can get a little more narrow. And a lot of sites are like that. Like the Chronicle is more specific than that. So you can subscribe to just Prop Hacker, for example, if you wanted to, which you don't need to have a subscription to have access.
Cool. Do any prominent feeds charge? Is there a fee for any of them?
For some of the newspapers.
It's not, there's no charge to get the feed,
It's just to read
but some
the
of them you might
articles.
not be able to read the whole article without the subscription. You have to log in.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So their paywall essentially exists.
Yeah, the paywall still exists. This just lets you get it.
It just lets you get it all in one place rather than having to seek everything out.
Thank you. That's
And I can imagine, like, I remember working in a communications office where we had to like do newspaper clippings and stuff from a few like key newspapers. So this would be helpful that like you could have it all come into one place where you don't have to like go out and like search for them. At least it's kind of coming to you. So, and this is how I keep track of a lot of stuff, like my teaching materials, like new stuff. I keep here and keep on top of it a little bit easier. Anything else?
It's just really convenient because you get to choose when you look at the stuff and you get to see everything you're interested in from any number of things. It could be something in your field, it could be something in your discipline, it could be a journal, it could be newspapers, local news places.
It could be a hobby.
It could be a hobby. And usually you can create some custom searches too for feeds. So you can do a search and generate a feed from that and some other apps.
So you can see, like, I have my Pocket account hooked up to this. So, you can hit my Pocket and it puts it right in that account that I have. So those are things that can be really handy. If you use readers like Instapaper or anything like that, you can use that as well. So.
Where did you add that? Is there like a link? Maybe the link?
In the settings, I think, for the app.
Yeah, I think there's, let's see, I would have set that up ages ago, so I'm not sure if I...
Under more settings, I think.
Where is that?
You had it right there.
Okay.
Maybe under more settings.
I don't see that. So
Down. What?
oh, right here.
Yeah, I think it's there, but I'm maybe.
Why would someone call that more settings? That's kind of dumb.
I would think to put it under settings.
Exactly.
Oh no, that's just for the feed.
Yeah.
I
think I think there's account settings over here somewhere.
Yeah.
I use my phone more. I've never, like I said
Integration.
the other day, the only time I've ever used it on here, like,
I think it's
was
under-
yesterday.
There you go.
Yeah, so you can get the oh, that didn't really do
Well, that's
anything.
How you do it?
That's IFTT, but no, I think there was some right there. So there's where up. I think it's right there, wasn't it?
It's not letting me. It's
Or
not
is that just
clickable.
IFTT? Or
Oh,
right
it's
there?
them.
Yeah, it's not really.
What? Okay, that's to integrate with those things.
I can tell you how it worked on my phone.
Yeah, that's how I did it too.
Basically, like on my phone, I have the Pocket app, and I have Twitter, and I have
So
Facebook,
it's
and all of
sensitive,
those
it
things.
recognized
Yeah,
that it
so
had
all
it.
those things
Do
are
you-
there.
Do you want to link up your account and then, yeah.
And then those are options. So any of those things, like the social media stuff that you have, it knows like if you're logged into those things, like on your phone, and will allow you to just tweet out or use those things.
Oh.
So like there was no setting that I like.
Oh,
Dang.
gotcha.
There probably is something there somewhere, but. where
Yeah,
is it?
Yeah, I
you
don't know
can
where it
do
is on
from
here.
but
I don't.
if you do it on your phone, it carries over.
It does.
I don't know, Web, I don't read on. my
I
phone.
do more on my laptop but I have apps and stuff on my laptop, so.
Yeah, that might. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is a free download from iTunes, John.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, Feedly is free. They do have a paid version, which gives you some additional features.
And gets rid of. I think it filters out any ads or anything that might be in
It
the
might.
content.
And so I did subscribe to it for a while. I think it was only like $25 a year.